Hey guys, welcome to my newest business video. A lot of people only comment on their critiques, but they don't, the people that do enjoy my stuff don't seem to really comment as much about how good my videos are. I make some pretty good fucking videos, man. And I would watch my videos. I provide value in every video, so subscribe to the channel if you at any point if you decide that you enjoy this video. So in this video, I want to talk about learning through brute force. Uh, you know how in a job you need to have experience in order to get most jobs. They want us to go to college, and then going to college isn't good enough. Then you have to get experience in the actual field, which is the worst thing about it. So I'm an entrepreneur and I learn through brute force. Whatever it is just a Google search away, you know, and that's kind of the motto that I live by. Um, if I'm learning how to code, I study hundreds of hours of coding courses. If I want to get something done, I know all the solutions to all my problems are just a Google search away. So, yeah, I utilize Google, and for the most part, learning through brute force by the doing part of it. You see, 100 years ago, you'd have to go read books and study the laws and stuff like that firsthand if you wanted to have a business. I think that's why a lot of the biggest businesses 100 years ago were also very simple. In this digital age of advanced technology, if you want to get something done, it's it is just a Google search away. But most of the stuff that I do is a lot more complex than, for example, drilling for oil. Drilling for oil was seemed like a very simple process, was the biggest business that made America's first billionaire. Nowadays, the shit that we got to do on a daily basis is more complicated than the shit that you would do in like a year. Drilling for oil and mining for diamonds and mining for gold and shit like that. You know, building an online business is like building a machine, you know, and your machine manufactures money. You know, you know how to make guns, for example. Smith and Wesson needs to invent their own machines. Well, when you're getting into coding and software development and to do half the shit, Kevin, so learning through brute force is something that you have to learn how to do, if you want to really succeed in whatever it is that you basically want to do. Most of the stuff that you're going to have to know, you have to learn from the internet. And in the beginning stages of my business, like right now, I spend most of my time actually studying Most of the time that I spend working on my business, I spend mostly studying, and it's actually a lot less work in the actual field than the time that you spend studying. So it's really debatable, which is obviously back in the day seems like it would be a little bit more difficult, but not like vastly that much goddamn different, you know, really. You go if you own a business and then in for example, my first business in 1998 or 1997, I went to the library to learn everything that I needed to know about my business. I had to take out this huge book of business laws, and I read that thing and I read that thing. And then my grandparents told me that I'm not even allowed to have a business because you need someone who's over 18 to sign the paperwork for you so that you can have a business at that age. I was 3 years old. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we do come from two different worlds in a lot of ways, but the general process has been the same for a long time. You go and you learn what you need to learn to do what you need to do, and then you go out and apply what you learn. This topic is going to get me in hot water because it's obvious which side of this mini war is favored. But if you really think that going to the library to learn how to do what you need to do is that much worse than doing a search on Google, then maybe you're the one who needs a reality check. Because I owned businesses before the internet. I owned a few businesses before the internet, and it wasn't that fucking hard. You just go to the library and do what you need to do. Now you more or less sit at home on Google and research what you need to learn. It's harder than it looks because not everything is so fucking obvious at the top of Google. You know, not everything is so fucking obvious. Sometimes you have to do a lot of digging in order to find what you really need to learn. It's obvious that business, 25 years ago was a lot harder than it is today, but it's not vastly really that much different if you really think about it. I spend a lot of time in the field doing things that I would prefer not to do. That if it wasn't for so much goddamn money being on the line, I probably wouldn't be doing these things. If you were paying me $60,000 a year to do my job, I probably wouldn't be doing it. You know, it's the fact that the rewards from the hard work that I do is so high that that's why I really continue to do this. And let's not pretend like somehow, some way, oh, I love the sport of business. It's true. I love the sport of business, but I probably wouldn't engage in the sport of business if it wasn't for money. So the bottom line is money. It always has been money and it always will be money with 99.99999% of entrepreneurs. And until I have enough money to have everything that I want, I'm not going to keep doing this shit. I'm not going to keep doing business when I have $17 billion for the love of the sport. Some people do, though. Some people do. Some people truly just love the sport of business. I think that's awesome. And I'm not bitching about my job. I'm not bitching about my job. I love my job. But it's not like no one is happy when money's on the line and you have to make money. If anything, yes, I do love the sport of business. Maybe one day to be the best at business is something that I might try to do. That would be the only thing that once I can afford everything that I really want, I'm not going to keep doing this shit. Hey. So, yeah, so I love the sport of business just fine. It's my favorite thing to do. In fact, I think I couldn't see myself doing anything else in my life. There's no job that can satisfy the work that I do. There's no job where I could sit behind a desk and do what I do and solve complex problems and find solutions and be important and add products into the marketplace and make a shitload of money. But once I make the money that I need to make, I'm not going to keep doing this shit, is all I'm trying to say. I think this was a good video. There's going to be a lot of disagreements on this video. Business back in the day was not that much fucking harder than business today, depending on what business you're in, of course. The business that I have today is just as hard as the business that I had 20 years ago before we had a computer. And I owned a landscaping business in 1998. I was doing a little bit of landscaping. And today I own basically a software development company. And in order for me to solve problems, I still have to go into Google and find like, you know, it's just back in the day, you go to the library to find out what you need to find out. All you got to do is go up to the library and it's all right there. Nowadays, you know, yeah, I mean, and then most of the stuff that you'd have to do back in the day, you just use common sense. Most of the stuff that you'd have to do back in the day and even today, you just use common sense, learning new skills, working with an internet-based business. I'm always learning new skills. I'm 10 years in and I'm just now learning how to code for the first time. I've been learning how to code for the past year or so. Um, and the truth is I don't even know if I want to do this shit anymore, to be honest. Money's evil. There's a lot of evils when it comes to money, and I don't even know if this is what I want to do anymore. I'd probably rather just not even do it. Even if there's billions of dollars on the line, billions of dollars is still just billions of dollars. It's not like the answer to all your fucking problems, you know. So, anyways, I'm done with this video. It's up for debate. What do you think was harder, having a business back in the day or having a business right now? Obviously, back in the day was a little bit harder, but it wasn't tremendously that much fucking harder. You know, if you own a landscaping company in the 80s, that's like good money and it's worth going outside with like a lawnmower. Or if you manufacture lawnmowers, you just need to find a way to get those pieces for the lawnmower made. You know, it's not that difficult. The evolution of technology, whatever it's always been the same thing. Whatever it is that you want to achieve in your business, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And if there is a way to get it done, you just have to find the way to get it done. It's always been that way. And it's no different today. I'm not some kind of internet pussy that just sits around on Google. It's hard fucking work.